Grief is not relegated to losing a loved one to death. It can be the loss of a marriage or a job or a dream. It can be an estranged relationship or a prodigal child. We mourn when our expectations aren't met or when sickness comes and stays. We cry out loud when our loved ones suffer. There are 10,000 weepings in a wounded world, but lament is the prescription for them all. In our 33rd year of marriage, my kind and beautiful wife, Melissa, died of pancreatic cancer. As I walked through the first months after the loss of Melissa, I experienced the comfort of the Psalms of Lament. There are 50 songs in the Bible, as well as many passages in the prophetic books that show us a pattern of how to deal with pain and loss, rejection and anger and injustice and even fear, all things that we face regularly in a broken world. But not only are the Psalms a comfort, they are a pathway. They give us a way to pray and even the very words to pray. As I saw this journey of grief, the psalmists were walking, each of them experiencing different pain and at different times in history. I began to see a pattern emerge, steps to moving forward toward healing. These were very helpful to me, and I shared them with others. And they began to say, you should write a book about this. But how do you write about what is crushing your heart and pulling you into pieces? And besides, simple steps of grief resolution are almost an insult to those who are in the throes of their loss. I am a teacher, but I couldn't imagine writing a teachy book about grief because my ache was not academic. It was intensely emotional, and it was shaking me to my bones. And everyone's journey of pain is deeply personal. So I said, no, I'll never write a book about grief. Then I took a bike ride on a brilliantly sunny afternoon by the river and through the ridges of my beautiful native East Tennessee. By the end of that ride, my Heavenly Father had shown me a way that writing a book to help others through this valley of grief might be possible. If I wrote about this verdant valley around me and the mountains that surround it, the struggle and the beauty of my homeland, and I wrote about my and Melissa's families along with others who settled here, and if I used it to parallel our grief journey and the biblical process of lament I was discovering, then maybe, just maybe, a book could be written. I've learned that a broken world and a faithful Father can coexist, that heartbreak and hope can live together. And I've learned that grief can take your breath away, but so can the kindness of God. As you read Walking Through Grief, I hope to offer you a safe place, a feeling of home nestled in the beauty of God's creation, the safety of empathy from a fellow traveler through this valley of weeping, and most of all, the safe words of the Psalms that have been such a balm to generations of God's people in this valley of tears.